It's one thing calling someone on the phone and telling them that you've gone for a sail or an ocean crossing, and it's another thing entirely to experience it. The anxiety before departure, the lack of sleep. Whilst in the middle of the ocean, it's possible to feel a really bad weather report deep in your bones. I'd had this gnawing idea about purchasing a sailboat for years, but had been hesitating because I just had no idea how to actually sail.
I'd been working in the Greek islands for 2 seasons. The first summer at the dive shop and a bar, and the second as a musician.
I had been working 12-hour days in 3-week rotations for 8 years and saved up just a bucket load of cash. I then promptly flew to Italy and spent it all on a 43-foot sailboat.
During that second summer, I met Riley. We met out and talked all night until last minute he told me he was heading back to his sailboat down the marina, and myself and my friend were welcome to join him. At first, I thought it was a pickup line, having a sailboat down the marina. But he did indeed have a yacht, and after knowing each other for about a month, he asked me to leave the island with him for a Greek island hopping adventure. Of course I said yes.
So, looking back, the first video went exceptionally well, but to me, it just had 70,000 views. So if there's someone with 0 subscribers and they put up a video and it gets 70,000 views, that's extraordinary. But at the time, it had 70,000 views, and I was looking around, there was other videos that had 1 million views or 2 million views, and I was like, okay, so this is just, this occasionally happens, there's not much to it. And Elena was flipping out. She was going, it's gone viral! Oh my god! Oh my god, Riley, it's gone viral!
I was 21. I'd say that first video definitely went viral. When I posted it, we had 0 subscribers, and then it's hard for me to remember exactly. I'd have to look at the analytics, but I'm pretty sure like over a month it spiked and the video had 70,000 views. And that's when I said to Riley, babe, I think our video has gone viral. And he was like, what does viral mean? Google what viral means. How do you know our video's gone viral? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm pretty sure going from no views to 70,000, like that's a lot of people in this amount of time. I think it's viral, but I didn't know. All I knew was that it was probably a good idea to make that second video as fast as I could and put it up and see what happened to the next one.
What was going on in the back of my mind is there's an episode of South Park where these guys went viral on YouTube, and South Park just pulled this out of them saying like, ultimately, it's good for nothing. You're not making any money, you're internet famous, and I think they actually were awarded YouTube dollars, so they were spending their entire life claiming that they were famous, and they just got nothing from it. I think one of the dudes was Chocolate Rain. But yeah, so that was really pinging around inside my mind here, just especially when there was maintenance to do, which was specific to keeping our lives safer.
So Riley and I hadn't had a single argument for the entirety of our Greek island, Turkey as well, island hopping adventure, until I picked up the camera and started filming, and I was editing my first after movie that I was making.
Yeah, I mean, I was pissed when I saw Elena sneaking off downstairs to edit stuff. There was heaps of work to be done, and I think a couple of times I was like, it was early days in the relationship, so I probably wouldn't have been rude, but there came a time when I don't know. Yeah, I was probably a little bit rude.
It was a Canon G7X PowerShot, pretty small, pretty heavy though, like good quality, and he was hardly using it, and I picked it up and dusted it off and kind of made it my own for a while. Riley only used it to make funny videos for his friends. And yeah, I had this idea to film a kind of after movie after the summer romance was over, which it's still not over, it's 7 years later. We got 2 kids, we've been through a few boats. yeah, it kind of never finished. But anyway, that after movie was to show my friends and family back in Australia after it was all over. But once I'd edited that first video and showed Riley and how it made me feel watching it and how it made Riley feel, I kind of just thought maybe it was too special or different to not share with a larger audience. So I convinced Riley to film some like videos introducing ourselves, and I thought that would open it up to a larger audience, and I would put it on the platform of YouTube, which I was using at the time to watch other musicians play cover songs and stuff like that. And travel vlogging was really new at this stage. I think there weren't many out there for sure, and at the time it was quite weird to be putting your life online. Not weird, but just not as normal as it is now.
My initial hesitancy would have sprung from my upbringing and my friends back home, and yeah, I guess that the culture of South Australia, because I'm speaking to a larger audience than just my friend group now. So any hint of self-promotion or thinking that you're good enough or interesting enough that other people might want to look at what you're doing, and you just get shot to pieces where I'm from. So I was very concerned about putting my life online, or to be seen to be doing that. And there was different ways that you could think about it, but that was one way. Another is just, well, there's a story to be told here. You can watch it or you don't. So yeah, it didn't take long for me to fall into, I guess, a different way of seeing that, or being able to reframe it.
Looking back, it's actually a bit of a miracle that that first video ever made it up online, because Riley from country South Australia had bought this sailboat to, you know, escape civilization and get away from it all. And here I was, this young girl with a video camera and a dinosaur of a laptop, trying to upload things to the internet and kind of expose him in a way. I really felt like I was, because I had to drag him kicking and screaming to let me post that first video. In fact, it was edited, sitting there for a month, and eventually by like the third or fourth time I'd presented it to him and thought, oh, this would be cool if we put it up on YouTube. By the fourth time, instead of saying, oh no, it's a bit weird, like I don't want to put my life on the internet, he was like, all right, just like give it a go. So not only that, but editing this first video on my dinosaur of a laptop, I can't even remember the brand, it was like a Dell, I don't know, the worst brand you could possibly buy a laptop. It kept crashing every time I was using the editing program, Windows Live Movie Maker, the worst program ever. And sometimes I wouldn't save the video and it would just close, and it, unlike MacBooks where it saves your project, I would have to edit that whole part again that I just probably spent hours on. On our first sailboat, we weren't properly set up for blue water cruising. We didn't have enough solar panels, enough batteries. We didn't have our wind generator. Nothing to give me the amount of power that my laptop required. So I would edit for like an hour or two, and it would draw the batteries on the boat so that Riley would have to start the engine, which he absolutely hated. And at this stage, we had no idea what this video was going to do, or if it would be worth the amount of time I was putting into it. Riley at the time definitely thought I should be scrubbing the deck and doing other things on the boat rather than sitting on my laptop. So yeah, after you've finished watching this video, definitely go back and watch from the start. The first video, we don't know a single YouTuber that doesn't have those cringe videos from the beginning.
I was completely unprepared, even though I'd read so much about how much was involved in maintaining a blue water vessel. You could spend your entire life learning all of the different parts. So you need to be a rigger, an engineer, a diesel mechanic, an electrical engineer to cover all of the bases, and you're never going to do that. So there is just huge, unbelievable amounts of maintenance to keep your blue water boat safe, floating, and not on fire.
I totally understand where he was coming from and how he was looking at it, but I persisted because I had a gut feeling that maybe some people out there might like to watch our mistakes. And for me, I just hopped on this boat and I didn't know that there were people living on sailboats that sail around the world with the seasons and kind of group together and meet up in each new place. I didn't think that was a thing. It's kind of like van life, or like people in caravans, how you all kind of travel together. So I'd just been exposed to this lifestyle and thought it was incredible. And I guess Riley had been on the boat for a year prior to me hopping on the boat, so maybe that idea had become normal to him. But for me, this was not normal, and I could not wait to share it with especially my friends and family, but also anyone who wanted to watch it for a bit of escapism. Or eventually we found out there was a lot of people like in hospital beds watching, and yeah, people that weren't able to get out and see the world for themselves.
Yeah, after the first video, Elena's concentration waned on board, and yeah, there was a constant tension, which went on for a while. But we were putting out one video every 2 months, maybe less initially, and then I think it was when all of the comments, I started reading the comments, and that was good, and people genuinely cared about what we were doing. And then we ran out of money, and I was like, okay, this is gonna have to stop, certainly for now. And the small amount of subscribers that we had at the time flipped out. They were really upset that we were gonna stop this adventure. But we had, it didn't matter what they thought, we had run out of money, so we put the boat on the hard, we went home to Australia, I got work offshore, and Elena made an album, which she's very embarrassed of now. I think that it's wonderful. I think she's a very talented musician and she should take up more of that, but she and I argue about that. Major turning point, which was when we became professional cinematographers and sailor/documentarians, or whatever genre you want to plonk us in. Our audience just said, hey, there's this website that you should sign on to called Patreon. We would love to chip in, you know, an amount per episode or per video or per month. And we couldn't believe it. But again, I was very, very hesitant because that it was new, it wasn't my thing. I was saying to Elena, look, I can go offshore part-time and make quite a good living. And then we could do some charters and stuff, and we were really bouncing around the different ideas as to how it would all go. In the end, our videos and our Patreon both took off, and it seemed like that was the best way to go. And bloody now look at us, eh? Don't tell anyone I said that.
And there's a lot more to this story that would take another video, about how Riley asked me to sail with him indefinitely, and our sail route and why we were going out of the Mediterranean to cross an entire ocean to the Caribbean, which we'll have to film another time. But yeah, basically right now we were sailing out of Europe, it was freezing cold, and in between reinforcing rudders, sailing through lightning storms. The weather gets really bad in the Med in winter, like it's not recommended you sail. But we were on a mission to get across to the Caribbean, and yeah, in between all of this boat mayhem, I was still working away on my crappy laptop, editing this second video, also trying to reply to all the emails that we had flooding in from the first video, and it was a bit overwhelming, to tell you the truth. This sudden attention was like nothing I'd ever experienced before, and I really thought I had to reply to everyone, and I was so like, I guess I just didn't know how to handle it at all. And yeah, it was really overwhelming, especially while we were new to sailing and we were getting out of the Med and sailing so many miles each day. So yeah, I had to convince Riley to make that second video with me, and yeah, that one went really well as well. And it took probably maybe 3 to 6 months before Riley was like leaning over my shoulder being like, oh wow, like this is cool, when I'd won him over. managed to convince him. But for a long time we were only posting videos like every other month. And I remember when, this is quite a significant moment for me, when we crossed the Atlantic and we didn't post a video about the Atlantic crossing or give anyone any updates, and we had people messaging us being like, are you guys alive? Like, where are you? We haven't heard from you in ages. And that's when I felt like more of a responsibility to keep the journey going, keep the videos going, keep our fans involved in our lives. And that was like, wow, it became more of a commitment then and started to feel more real. And yeah, it was about this time when you guys wanted to see the videos continue and knew how much time it took to make the videos, and how much money we were blitzing through cameras and computer hard drives and all the equipment. And they suggested we sign up to Patreon, and it was like such a good time because we had almost run out of money by this stage. We had bought solar panels for our boat, new batteries, the wind generator I was telling you about, reinforced a rudder, then reinforced it again. And just sailboats are just so expensive, and the whole journey, it's very, very expensive. So yeah, that also took a bit of convincing from Riley. I was like, babe, these people want to see us make more videos, and like they're asking us to sign up to this crowdfunding site where the money goes directly to you. There's no kind of like middleman. That takes a lot. And finally I won him over. We signed up to Patreon, and then suddenly this had turned into a little part-time job for us. So we ran out of money and flew back home to Australia in 2015, where I kept working on what we'd started on the YouTube channel and with the crowdfunding and all of that. And Riley was lucky enough to get a job on the oil rigs, thank goodness, to boost our bank accounts. And after that winter in Australia, we were still so unsure if we were able to fly back to the boat and put it back in the water because we had her hauled out. We were so unsure if it was going to be sustainable. And yeah, a year after this mess of sailing and learning how to be in this new relationship with each other and managing a little business at this stage, it was crazy and so messy. But yeah, after a year, it looked like it would be possible for us, and so we flew back to the boat, put her in the water, and off we sailed.
We often need time away from the boat, or it would be nice to be able to have more. But we've been on land for a while now, and I am so desperate to get back on board. It feels like home. I love it. I'm really looking forward to bringing my boys up on the boat. I'm getting emotional. I'm really proud of what we've accomplished and this wildlife. Like, you guys get to watch it, but living it for Elena and I, it's very special to me, and I'm really glad that we've been able to chisel out this existence for ourselves. So yeah, thanks to everyone that's ever watched the video, and yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, thanks guys.
I get so emotional now with my two kids. They've ruined me.
What's that part of your brain that grows when you have
the
kids?
Amygdala. So Adam Stern told me on the phone when he was organising for us to do that freediving, which is a video that you should all go and watch. We'll put that link somewhere. Yeah, he said that a primary caregiver, if you're there constantly, your amygdala doubles in size. So yeah,
fun fact of the day.
You can chalk that, pencil that down to an oversized amygdala.
Right. Thanks guys, we love you. What a journey. So nice to have time on land to reflect back on it all. Cool.
Je me gratouillais les corps en regardant passer les culs. Je la vis entrer au port, accompagnée de son Jules. 2 ou 3 verres dans le pif, je parlais presque hollandais. Sur l'île de Tenerife que tout a commencé.
Ik zag je dansen, ik zag je gaan. Waar komen al die Franse kerels toch vandaan? Je bruine ogen.
P.S. Can I mention how funny Riley's decorations are? Look at the 2 empty baskets he's just plonked on
I
the
was trying to
table.
do a pro interview. I think everyone can appreciate that. Look at the plants. Everything was symmetrical. You're welcome, everyone.
Pour une blague à 2 balles, elle me prépare le bras. Je me suis dit qu'on était mal sur le chemin de la marina. Comme une bonne surprise, je la revis à Mindelo. Elle était encore prise sur son Tao.
Ik had een ander, wat kon je doen? Een strand in Mindelo, je eerste zoen. Ja, wat een zooitje, wat moest ik nou? Ik wilde van dat eiland af en wel heel gauw.
Qu'un petit baiser en guise de garantie. Seul souvenir mouillé pour une transatlantique. J'y voyais plus bien clair, loin de ses beaux yeux. J'étais un peu